Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the political platform. My name is Kaboba Alport, and today on the political platform, I'm joined by powerful panel here, where we've got 4 gents and 1 lady. Before I go to introduce them on this political platform, we are going to look into agriculture sector and education sector. How has the PF delivered in these two sectors? So, point of correction, I said 4 gents. I'm always used to have 4 gents on my political platform, but changes, ladies and gentlemen, come with time, and today we've got 5 gents and 1 lady on this political platform. And just on my far right, we are joined by Mr. Himala Popen. Mr. Himala, welcome to the platform.
Thank you. Morning, viewers.
Next to Mr. Himala is Mr. Stone. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Morning, viewers.
And Honorable Kanyembo, we are so pleased to have you. Welcome to the political platform.
Thank you very much, and good morning, viewers.
And on my far left, we are joined by Mr. Augustine Monya. Welcome, sir, to the political platform.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers.
Next to the man himself, Mr. Augustine Mwaba, we've got Mr. Chibali Collins, who is just a new guest on our political platform. He's featuring for the first time. Thank you so much, sir, for coming, and you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Daniel. It is always a pleasure to stand in front of the camera.
That's a powerful one. And just next to me is well, smartly dressed political analyst lady. We are so pleased and humbled to have her, Madam Veronica Tsenga. Welcome, Madam.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we may not know, on the 28th of October, we received sad news as Zambians on the dismay of the Republican President of Zambia, His Excellency Mr. Michael Chilufya Sata, who died in London. And would like to convey our deepest condolences to the first family and the people of Zambia at large on the dismay of the president, and would like to pray and we would like to pray for unity in this country on this as we go into the transition period. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome, as I said earlier, and we are going to start with the agriculture sector. Basically, we are looking at what did the PF promise us as they were campaigning about agriculture, and have they delivered? So basically, that's what we are trying to look at. Let me start with you, Mr. Mwaba. Basically, what are we talking about in this sector on the past 3 years, where the PF was being led by the late President, Mr. Michael Chilufya Sata? So rest in peace.
Well, it's a well-known fact that agriculture sector, these are key sectors which have improved the life of Zambians. And it's a well-known fact that various changes have taken place in the agriculture sector. We did witness in the past regime that the sharing of agriculture inputs and the way these inputs were delivered to various destinations was not done in a good faith, and it was just enriching just few individuals. But upon the His Excellency assuming office, various changes took place, and we did see the supply of agriculture inputs was taken to the chiefs, who are, these are, they stay with people, they know who's supposed to give, and, those are various changes which have taken place, and we see a positive result has been, corrected from there.
Okay, and Mr. Chibali, you seem to have a point there, sir.
I would like to say that agriculture inputs, as he has put it, the past regimes have not done a quite good job. So some also applies to the current one, or should I say the pre-current one. Nothing much has really been done for us to say they've really done a good job. That is what I can say.
Oh, okay. And Mr. Stone, sir, if I may just come to you, how would you compare the agriculture sector and with the PF government and the previous regime?
Actually, when you look at the MMD government, the way they supplied the inputs to the farmers, it was done with bad faith, as my colleague has already alluded to. But when the PF government, Ajum Power went relevant, we saw the PF campaigning to say that immediately Ajum Power are going to refabricate the NCZ, nitrogen chemicals of Zambia. And we are all aware that, as I'm talking now, all districts all over the country, they have a T compound. It was yesterday when it was reported that the Chinsari that they are going to start receiving their fertilizer. So in agriculture sector, the PF government has done quite good. Because last time we used to see that the previous government, they were able to import fertilizer, both urea and the T compound. But currently, they are just importing urea. But T compound they are able to manufacture in our country.
Well, that's a nice one. And let's get a point from a person who comes from the place where nitrogen chemicals of Zambia is. I think, madam, you've got vast information and a lot of, let me just put it that way. Nitrogen chemicals of Zambia was revamped after the president came. How has it really benefited the agriculture sector and the people of Kafue in particular?
Exactly. Thank you so much. First thing first, I think the resumption of nitrogen chemicals of Zambia has been the happiest thing that the people of Zambia and Kafue were waiting for, particularly. And I think this resumption has really, first of all, brought in employment to the people around there. And then it has also improved the agriculture sector in a way that people are able to have fertilizer nearby. Not like my colleague said, the previous government had to import. But now we are making this for our own, and it is really working.
Thank you so much. Mr. Himala, that head check doesn't give a good sign to me as a moderator. Are we safe?
Yeah, exactly. I would love to argue with my colleagues here. One thing they have said, maybe the PF, they are doing fine in terms of distribution of agriculture inputs, of which me, I'm arguing that I don't accept that. One, look at what the PF have done. In the first place, distribution of agriculture inputs, they don't distribute them in good time. Like, take for instance, this time, we are almost approaching the rainy season, but they have not yet distributed the farming inputs.
In the rainy season, in fact.
Just as my friend here has said to say, they are about to, but we are in the rainy season.
I think I can come in. I can
let
come
him
in.
just try and
We're already in the rainy season. The fertilizer has not yet gone yet.
Let me finish
Farmers' houses.
Let me finish here.
let him just conclude, then we come back to
Yeah.
Mr. Augustine before we come to Mr. Kanyembo here.
So the first thing to start with is the PF have failed. Literally nothing, and we can't even. Oh, yes, MMD have failed, but then PF is worse than what MMD has done. Because look at it in this way: we are in rainy season, but they have not yet distributed the farming inputs. And then you are saying that they have improved in terms of the agriculture sector. That is a total failure.
Let's get a clarity from Mr. Mwaba. Mr. Mwaba.
I think I can forgive my colleague from that side. I think he's behind on that one.
Very much.
He's behind. You need to update the information. Just from, if I'm not precisely, that was May, somewhere May, the flagging off of agriculture inputs by Wilbur Simusa, who the agriculture minister, was done. And the consignment has reached in the various destinations. And this is even people out there, they are chanting of the flagging of agriculture input. And this is a clear indication that we are expecting to have a bumper harvest this year than ever. So the flagging of the agriculture input has reached the destinations.
Let me make it clear. Let me make it clear here. One thing is, we all know that agriculture is maybe, apart from mining, agriculture is the second. Is the second was we depend on the agriculture.
Yes, as a source of
income. Yes, in this country. And when we look at what they are doing in terms of, they have not improved agriculture. Let me give you an example. My friend here is a farmer. He supplied me to the FRA And even up to now, he has not yet given the money. And then he's supposed to buy farming inputs from that money that he has supplied maize. But when is he going to buy those farming inputs?
Okay.
Well, Mr.
I think
just before you come in, Mr. Stone, Dr. Kanyembo, if I may call you doctor in that way, we also see that the vice president is a doctor in the vice president, who is the current acting president of Zambia. Dr. Guy Scott is a doctor in agriculture, and we expected a lot of improvement in agriculture. Have you seen any changes or rather improvements?
First, I would like to differ with my friends, Honorable Augustine, who is in government, and Honorable Stone, also representing the government of the day here. Actually, what the PF have done is a total failure, as the Honorable Popen has already said. I'll give you examples. MMD's policy on agriculture were much better and far better actually than the PF, because MMD, they made sure that regardless of the nitrogen chemical being funded, that plant or that industry has been in existence for a long time. It's not an industry that has been created by PF. It's been there for a long time.
If I may just interrupt you, Mr. Kanyembo, but look, as we just got a point from the lady, Madame Veronica, here was vast information on nitrogen chemicals of Zambia, because she comes in from Kafue in particular. This place was neglected by the MMD, or this place was felt to be run by is that right, Madam?
Yes, it is.
It stopped working a long time ago.
Not until the Patriotic Front came in, and this place was revamped, and the Madam has just alluded as well to say, employment has been created. I mean, so such kind of benefits, of course the PF did not create it, but I mean, don't you think it is an improvement that these guys revamped this
Let me
sector?
finish my point. I'm also a resident of Lusaka, and Kafue is just about 30 minutes drive from the main city, Lusaka. So I understand what happens right there in Kafue. You see, when you are recapitalizing an industry or a plant, it means you just want to extend the capacity. It doesn't mean that the plant was not working at all. No, it's been producing fertilizer, but at which capacity? Yes, they have done a good job, but the credit shouldn't be given to them as to say they have, as if they have opened the new plant. Now, let me talk about their policies on agriculture. You see, the MMD had the subsidies on agriculture inputs, and now when the PF came into power, they told all of us that no, actually they have removed the subsidies on farming inputs, because they said only few people were benefiting on those subsidies. So we expected them to create a fund where the removal of subsidies, the money they removed from those subsidies, they were supposed to create an agriculture fund that they would have used to go and fund small-scale farmers. But look, it is during PF's time that the bag of meal is costing almost 100 kwacha. It never
Where is the subsidy down?
Now, where is the subsidy? Now, Mr. Moderator,
If I may just cut you
let
short.
me just add one point before you cut me short. There are a lot of agricultural industries in Zambia that add value to agriculture products. If they were serious with liberating this country or creating employment from agriculture sector, because agriculture sector has got the potential to give us a lot of jobs. If they were serious, and if it was a government that is working, they would have recapitalized Mwinulunga Cannery, where they would have promoted the farming of pineapples.
Just
we
before,
have,
you know, I'm trying to cut you
Mm.
short, because you may end up tackling the next question which is coming.
Maybe I
And
just add a voice.
just before you do that, yes, Mr. Stone, sir, you wanted to say something about the supplying of agriculture inputs and getting paid by the FRA.
All right, yes, sir. I wanted just to react to what Mr. Popen said. Mr. Popen, actually, you know, this is the caring government. That's why this time the government, yes, of course, you know that it doesn't finish paying what farmers. That's why they have suspended a big supply of what farming inputs. It was 2 days ago when the Minister of Agriculture reported that they have paid about 1 billion. The farmers, they are just owing the farmers about 50,000.
they are about to complete their payment. Now, that's Mr. Kanyambo's point concerning the issue of NCZ. You know, people are not talking about hallucination, we're talking about realities. No? We're talking about realities on the ground. The MMD government have to forsake the NCZ because the money which the government was spending to import both urea and D compound, it was a huge sum of money. First, do you know where this fertilizer comes from? It comes from Saudi Arabia.
I'm aware.
Yeah, you're aware.
Yes, but you are talking about revamping the NCZ.
Yes.
While we are still importing fertilizer.
Before you come in, Mr. Himala, Mr. Collins, you'd like to say?
Yes, I wanted to say something.
Yes.
When we talk of revamping NCZ,
Yes.
we expect if it was revamped to a good standard, it's supposed to supply D compound and urea and the artificial fertilizers to all parts of Zambia. Not so. But we just heard that they were importing fertilizer from what? From Saudi Arabia using a train.
That was then.
That is current information.
That is current information.
Updated information, Mr. Honorable.
Okay, yes,
on that one, only urea, not D compound.
But you see, why should we be importing urea when we have NCZ, which is...
Yes,
if I may just cut you short,
let me
gentlemen.
just
This is getting hot and hot and hot. The lady would like to come in, but just before she does,
Let me just say a word here. I'm happy that my colleague here has accepted the fact that he has not been paid the money that he supplied the maize from the FRS, and also he has accepted the fact that they have not distributed the farming input. He has said it to say they have suspended, but we are in the rain season this time. We are in the rain season, but when are they going to distribute those, and when are the farmers going to be paid the money? Because this time they're supposed to start preparing for the next.
okay.
Okay.
Just before you answer that, Mr. Sone, hold your thought. You wanted to come in, madam.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to talk about the nitrogen chemicals of Zambia. You see, when you are trying to improve something, it doesn't come abrupt. Okay, that thing was abandoned, and I'm sure you know when you talk of something that has been abandoned. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. That thing needed huge amounts of money to be revamped. And the PF have done a lot of things so that that thing can start working. I'm sure that is a job well done.
Okay.
We did give a...
NCZ is a good idea. Now, why should we import when we have revamped it?
Just Mr. Sone, just come in.
Yeah, all right, to shed more light on that one. We as a government in power, we have plans to start manufacturing urea here. Because in Isoka, there is a place called in Katete Chiefdom, the Tambo people, there is a place called Nkomba. They have discovered the phosphorus, which is used to make what? Urea. So we heard that the government saying that maybe by 2016, they will be able to see with our naked eyes that urea will be produced in Zambia. It is there in the PF manifesto 2011-2016.
Those are campaign programs.
Just before you come in, gentlemen, for the last time, just before you come in, Mr. Augustin.
Yeah, it is a pity that my fellow colleagues can fail to understand the transition period for the efficiency of the company to start in a full operation. It is a well-known fact that nitrogen chemicals was abandoned in the Chihuahua regime because this man, he neglected the agriculture sector. But here comes a man, Monawasa did his part in contribution for the development of this sector. But looking at this company, nitrogen company, 40 billion was, outlined to revamp this, company. But it is in a full operation, and I think the proper consignment was produced from this company. And this time around, it has actually catered for the farmers. There will be, I think, a good number of fertilizers will be produced just to cater for the farmers, just in a D compound, because this is the most important fertilizer they're talking about. The time that consignment will come from Saudi Arabia just to supplement what is on the ground, definitely the farmers will survive. But the efficiency of the company as we go on, it will start in a full operation, and we expect the positive result to be healed.
Okay.
Mr. Moderator, just to add just a point within some seconds. In fact, the NCZ were given a consignment of producing 50,000 metric tons of fertilizer, but they went beyond to produce 60,000 metric tons this year, 2014.
So are we saying that these guys, they've got capabilities of producing more than
Yes.
More than that.
Okay,
Correct.
Mr. Kanyambo, you wanted to come in, sir?
Yes, you see, when we talk of NCZ, ladies and gentlemen, let's not deceive ourselves. NCZ is a company that was set up long time ago. We thank PF that they realized that the capitalization of NCZ will add value or increase the production capacity. Now, with that in mind, if you put in that huge sums of money to recapitalize an industry like NCZ, we expected the distribution of inputs to be in time. Well, up to now, this is rainy season. Inputs have not yet reached the farmers. Now, what is the recapitalization all about if the inputs cannot get to the farmer? One thing also I can tell you is this. After the removal of subsidies, they have failed, okay, to deliver inputs in time, and then they have made it even difficult for these private suppliers to supply inputs cheaply to the farmers. The other thing I'll tell you concerning the buying of maize by FRA. You see, the sad thing is this: people produce the cost of producing a bag of maize is very expensive now because of the high cost of the farming inputs and chemicals that comes along. Here is a farmer who produces his maize, and the government has failed to buy the maize. Now, what are they promoting? What is the government doing to make sure that every grain that a farmer produces is bought by them? They are not doing that. A lot of bags are rotting. And then let me come to the other storage. If you can allow me, Mr. Moderator, to talk about the storage facilities when it comes to...
Yes,
I think
please,
that before you go to the storage, I can come in. The government has not failed to pay the farmers. I think they have changed they have changed the system of paying the farmers. In the previous regime, people used to go physically to the Zanaco and claim their money. But this time around, it's the thing of the past. This time around, immediately they have, measured your agriculture inputs and that thing. You'll be given what? A card. You just go there and present your card. Money will be released. Those are changes.
Mr. Moderator,
brought in
you see, you've given the government too much time.
We have given a lot of
Time to the government.
Yes, Mr. Himala, you may come in.
Okay, I think let me add my thought on the nitrogen chemicals of Zambia. Yes, quite right, it has been revamped. But the revamption of nitrogen chemicals of Zambia, it is not just something that we can go out and start celebrating that we have done something in terms of improving agriculture sector. No. Look at what is it that it is. Revamption, yes, is a good idea, but look at what is it that it is doing. Because this time around, can you say that just compound D, a farmer can produce up to the full capacity?
Mr. Ivan, just before you continue,
I think just before you
continue, hold the thought before I forget, just before you continue, Mr. Ivan. One thing that, following what the government had alluded here, they said that, okay, quite okay, it was not completely dead, but this sector was revamped. And the consignment that they are producing now compared to way back is different. They are able to produce more than they can produce. Quite okay, they are just producing compound D. But this compound D they are producing, it is being produced now at a larger scale compared to the previous. Don't you think? Oh yes. Don't you think that's a well done job?
What I'm saying is, that's why I've said, it is not just the function of nitrogen chemicals of Zambia and then you sit back and you start celebrating that we have done something. Now, is that fertilizer that has been produced have already reached the farmers? The answer is no.
That's the point.
That is the point we are looking at. You can produce, yes, but has it reached the farmers in good time? The answer is no, they have not done that.
I think don't generalize. Don't generalize.
Listen,
Not all the farmers are not yet
saying is one thing and doing is another.
And that is what PF lacks.
Okay.
Yes, they're just pronouncements.
Mr. Moderator,
Okay.
give the opposition also the time to react.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is the political platform and we are looking at how the PF government has delivered during the reign of President Michael Chilifos at the time he was into government. May his soul rest in peace. Well, just before we go to the next question about agriculture and conclude and quickly go to education, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I was saying something about the storage. You see, before even I say about storage on how the food, or I mean the grains that the farmers produce supposed to store, you see, PF has failed us massively in the way they implement issues. These guys are very good at paperwork. Now, we are not talking about paperwork here. Paperwork is only valid when it is implemented accurately. They are very good at making policies, and they make very good policies which they fail to implement. I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Moderator. If NCZ, I'll go back a little bit to NCZ. If NCZ was operating to full capacity, what they would have done is to make sure that in every district that they have created and they already exist in a district, they would have made depots where they would take all these farming inputs, so that it will be, no, let me just finish, Mr. Sichon, so that it will be very easy for the farmers to access that fertilizer nearby. The other thing also is this: when farmers produce their produce, they are supposed to take this produce to depots where they sell, of which that is what the PF has been doing, the thing which they copied from MMD. Now, the storage facility, a lot of maize have gone to waste. They don't know how to store the maize. And
So how many messages have gone to Mr. Honorable Kanyoshi on that one?
Let me just finish my point here. Just before you come in,
Mr. Moderator,
I give you exactly 60 seconds to finish your point because you have taken a lot of time.
Yeah.
16 seconds conclude the point, then we
yes,
jump
and
in.
the other funny thing is that PF itself, they have employed cadres to man these depots.
Yeah.
And these are the people who are stealing the maize. In Lusaka recently, a group of people, they bring trucks in the depot to sell maize, these PF cadres. So the government has really failed us because, one, they are not employing technocrats to look over these things. They are employing cadres so that they increase their voting base. So this country, this government is taking us into trouble.
Just before Mr. Chibale, we have kept you quiet for long. Mr. Stone is going to say something quickly. I come to your question and I come to you for a question.
Right.
Mr. Stone.
Okay, Mr. Kanyambo talked about the issue of subsidies. Quite okay, we know that government do some subsidy. It's not a 100% removal of subsidy on inputs. What the government used to do is that one bag of fertilizer we used to buy at 50 kwacha for vulnerable farmers. Talking about vulnerable farmers, 50 kwacha. But what the government did, the government said that no, you'll be buying a bag of fertilizer at 100 kwacha. Now what they did that instead of you to buy seeds, they are just giving for free. That's what they did. Now you talked about the issue of storage facilities. The maize used to go to waste during the reign of MMD, not the current government.
No.
This time, me had the time to go and sell my produce this year. During the only time, that was in August. I went there, I spent even a day there. I wanted to experience what the farmers feel there.
And
so,
he has not been paid for that.
Listen, don't interject me, let me finish my point. So thereafter, what the government has done so far, they are getting trucks from Lusaka. Because I remember the company which came to transport maize was Nimba Investment. Yeah.
Owned by GBM.
Yes.
No.
Point of correction, Mr.
Not owned by GBM.
I'm a farmer also,
So,
a well-known farmer in my locality.
Let him just stress out his
Let
point.
me stress my point, what I'm trying to say. So this time what the government has done, there was some consignment of building storage facilities. And it has been done in some provinces, as I'm talking. This time we will never hear any part of Zambia to say the maize has gone for waste system. There is
Let me, just before you come in, let me come to Mr. Chibale. What do you think the PF would have done, or what do you think the PF should do to ensure that the agriculture sector should be?
First and foremost, subsidy. Okay? We've talked about PF removing subsidy, but then we look at who is affected the most. Okay? Which one is more expensive? You said they removed subsidy. I at a fertilizer bag, they remove subsidy. They used to buy it at 50, but now they are buying it